right. Welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As always, I'm your host, Adam Smith, with Just the Tips Coaching. And we've got a really cool guest for you guys today. I'm amazed that he has the energy to do this with us this time around. We had him on the show about a year ago, and his life is a little different than it was then. But welcome back to the show, Colorado real estate agent, superhuman in general, Brandon Tomic. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure
Yeah,
to be
no.
back.
Yeah. Oh, happy to do it. We obviously pay attention to what the other is doing and what kind of things are spinning around our lives. And God, the advent of social media has just made that so fantastic, where I don't have to pick up the phone and call Brandon every week and see, how are things going? How is your son? And these kinds of things. Because there it is, right there on Facebook, on Insta, so on and so forth. That's really kind of a cool tool that way. But yeah, since we last had you on the show, I mean, work itself has obviously been a little kooky. I don't think that we could even get into all the weird details about what goes on in the real estate business. And I could probably spend, 48 hours just rambling about what weird things go on in the mortgage space these days. But you're also a new dad since the last time we had you on the show. You've got a 10-month-old son, which was really close. He was born shortly after you were on the show last time back in March. So, yeah, your whole world is a little different than it was. Probably been close to a year since you slept. We're
Yeah.
assuming you have time to eat and bathe. We hope,
Oh, yeah.
especially when you're using a colleague's office to do the podcast with us today. I certainly hope you took a bath before you strolled into that space.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am glad that the podcast software doesn't have smell-o-vision, but I did. Yeah, I made sure I was nice and clean for this one. But yeah, no, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so interesting the things you prioritize with. I mean, and anybody's listening who has kids, they're like, yeah, duh, idiot. But before it was always like, when can I get my time? When can I, so I got my work life, I got my home life with the family, with the wife and everything. And when do I get some me time? When can I have some of that? And now it's like, when can I make the naps happen? Like, that is the most take all the money in my bank right now. I don't care if that means there's consistent and continuous naps. That is the currency that I trade in right now.
For you or the baby?
Well, for me and the baby, because that's the only
All
time I
right.
can do anything. So it's an interesting. So my wife's a instructional coach at a school in D38 in the northeast part of Colorado Springs, and she went down to part time. That still means I have my solo day, which is typically Tuesday. Um, and so there's essentially, let's say, 3 hours on Tuesday when I can do work during the day, because
Wow.
I'm getting, angry grams and calls from agents and stuff like that, or questions from the agents that are working with me and all that kind of stuff. Um, and while I'm, being, you know, peed on by, this little thing that I love more than anything in my life. But, you know, just how it is
That
sometimes.
does, yeah. I have a vague recollection of the impact on business when I'm being peed on.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yep, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's there though. That's a real concern. Uh,
Hmm.
all right. So the last year for you has been really, really interesting because on top of what kind of kookiness has gone on in the real estate business and having almost a year under your belt as a new parent, your business is still increasing. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's been a huge there's a saying, I think it's a biblical saying, that like every child comes with a basket of blessings. And I think that basket of blessings for me was a higher turned up determination, because there was no, if I don't, I don't produce, if I don't make work happen, if I can't sell houses, I mean, that's on me. I mean, I'll sleep in my car, that's fine, no problem. But now that
You
I have
can't
this
do
little,
that with him though.
exactly, now that I have this beautiful little creature relying on me as well, now I mean, my feet were definitely really put to the fire. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm incredibly blessed to be able to have beat my unit count. from the year previous, and also volume as well. There was a diaspora of agents from a team at Keller Williams where I was. That was the other thing I think that changed as well, as I was with Keller Williams last time.
Right.
Yeah, so now we switched companies now to EXP. And I mean, not really much of a reason to that, but essentially there was a group, or there was a team at my brokerage that kind of just broke up, kind of out of nowhere, and I ended up taking some of those top agents and just said, "Hey, let's start working together." I have this lead pool that I can't handle by myself. So why don't we work together and try to, work on, because I don't want to shorten the amount of lead flow that I'm taking. I don't want to make it smaller just because I have a kiddo. What I want to continue to expand, but I just can't do it by myself because, the prior conversation we're having of, taking care of the kiddo while sending off inspection objections and stuff like that. So that's been a huge blessing. I'll shout them out. So that's Adam Pena, Drake Guidry, and Sydney Burnett, who have been incredibly helpful, and even just like beyond just working together and doing deals together. It's also just like with showings and stuff too. Like, it's, how buyer, I mean, you were saying it's kind of a kooky market right now. Buyers are incredibly valuable right now.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that
Yeah,
is,
it's so bizarre. I can't even describe it. And
yeah,
even if we extract the things that are really bizarre about the mortgage space, and obviously what we see on that side is just the buyer transactions. We don't deal with any
absolutely.
sellers. We only deal with buyers and owners. And yeah, what I'm seeing with buyers right now is definitely strange. Obviously, it's voluminous. We're
Mm,
probably seeing more transactions than we have in a good few years.
yeah,
Some of
I'm
that
feeling it.
is the interest rates coming down. Some of that is the increase in inventory, typical things. The
Absolutely.
biggest one by far is the lack of people that are willing to do what we do.
Yeah.
From the peak of the pandemic, we went from like something close to 1 million active federal mortgage licenses on the street down to less than 100,000. Now, I know
Whoa.
that kind of turnover is regular in the real estate game, right? I think
Sure.
the
Yeah.
NAR stats are like 80% fail in 2 years, 85% in the first 5 years, something like that. But there's a revolving door. There are people coming in, and we don't
Right.
really have that. Nobody wants this job. So nobody wants this job. So the volume, I think, and that being the major contributing factor, although all of them are applicable, is that we're seeing a lot of things that I just don't remember seeing in mass like this, with seller concessions.
Yes.
And we've always had them, but I don't think it's ever been this high a percentage of transactions that have them. A
Mm,
lot of down payment assistance.
yes.
And I never really considered myself somebody who focuses on that niche. And last month we got an award from one of our investors that we were their top down payment assistance broker
Come on.
for the last quarter of last year.
Love that.
And I was
That's
like,
amazing.
but it was eye opening. Feels like, well, it isn't really something I focus on. So I kind of had to take a step back and figure out, why is the business shifting in that manner? Because that's typically a younger audience,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. And I'm not young or getting younger. And I was like, you know what? It's the kids and even
Yeah.
grandkids of people that we've done work for over the years. So we're seeing a
Right.
lot of that kind of thing as well, which is always, an added little cog in the machine. A lot of 203K, a lot of rehab
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of home equity conversion, a lot of reverse mortgage stuff.
Sure.
So it's just been a different animal. I mean, millennials and even Gen Z getting older, boomers getting older, these kinds of
Mm,
things. The amount of inventory, and that some of those properties are going to require some work.
right.
These kinds of things have just kind of spawned this really fascinating example. I mean, if we took a slice of what we're looking at now, a lot of it is going to include all of those niches, And we've seen a pretty decent influx of commercial stuff as well. It's been a fun ride. The last year has definitely been entertaining. This year, definitely tipping those scales. We're only 7 weeks into the
Yeah.
year, and it's
Right.
been pretty wild. On the real estate side, I think we're fine. And you tell me or tell our audience, because I think we're finally over this hump where people are finally understanding that as sellers, we're not in the pandemic anymore. The
Right.
demand just isn't that high. The supply is much higher. We've got to be more realistic about where we're pricing homes, what we're selling for homes, what we're doing in inspection, resolution, what we're doing in concessions, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of your brethren as well. I think a lot of agents have finally come to terms with the fact that, hey, this house isn't worth $1 million. It's only worth 800,000. Nobody's going to pay $1 million. I'm not going to list it for $1 million. And if that's what you really want, then you're going to need to find somebody else.
Right. Yeah. You're having to have a very realistic conversation with people. And it's so interesting how when you're talking to sellers, it's your sell range is, do you want this to move in a month, or do you want this to never move or move in 6 months? So that's your range of 800 to 850,000, let's say. And then I'm already building in, and I'm just going to tell you, out of the 48 units we did last year, not a single one was at list price or was at list price without concessions. Not a single one.
Interesting.
And now I'm buyer heavy, so that's more of I take that more of a badge of honor, but it's a very realistic and harsh conversation you have to have with somebody who thinks they have the most beautiful and incredible property that's ever existed. And you do have a
They
beautiful,
might,
incredible
yeah.
property. Yeah, but it's not going to sell for
it's still
what
only
the
worth
estimate
what
is.
somebody's willing to. That's
Yep. Yep.
Oh, let's not go down that. The A in Zillow stands for accuracy road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the
Right.
sweet nothings it whispers to you when you look up your address,
Oh man. Yeah, it is atrocious. But that's really interesting, and that's good data for everybody to have. That none of the listings sold at ask or at ask without concessions.
That's right. About 38. So 38 of my deals were buyers. Every single one got some sort of deal on it. Every single one got at least, I think the least amount of concessions I got was 5,000. And it was on a shorter, smaller property. And then the 10 listings I was working with were also ended up having to take a bit of a haircut as
Okay.
well. So
Okay. That's
I
really interesting.
I expect a lot of the same this upcoming year, but I do expect more buyers to be entering the pool. I don't know if you've seen any data to accommodate that, or maybe in the opposite.
No, I would say it's absolutely the case. More and more, and certainly as the interest rates go down, that's a very big deal.
Hmm.
Certainly more and more as the inventory goes up, and people, I think, the savvy home buyer, first time or otherwise, understands that the getting's good.
Hmm.
That over the long haul, it's never going to be a better time to buy a home than now.
Oh, absolutely,
Right? I mean, and we
absolutely.
have this conversation year over year, decade over decade. And yeah, if you're the homeowner or the potential home buyer, I guess I should say, that's kicking yourself because you didn't buy last year
Mm.
and the values have gone up a bit and the rates have gone down and you could have refinanced your loan, then don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Get in while the getting's good, and then you won't have to kick yourself next year, next decade.
Right. And that's such a great conversation to have with buyers too, especially because they can get a little gun shy, a little nervous when they're looking out there and they're hearing all the news and all the things about markets all around the United States, which are not my market, but they're hearing all of these horror stories about prices and rates and everything. But if you can afford the payment, if you feel comfortable with that payment, uh, you're not going to be paying 50,000 over ask price once the rates get back down to, let's say, a 4 or even a 3, if that's even going to happen. You just refinance, right? You
You,
already have the asset.
Brandon, you just keep saying that like a mantra, man. I
Oh,
don't think we'll ever see 3. I am
yeah.
starting to see some 4s,
Yeah.
but definitely not. I don't know that we will. But hey, I'll keep wishing for it. No
Oh,
question.
yeah.
Obviously, that would help our clients immensely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's what I dream about are all the threes I've
Well,
seen in my life.
I've seen a lot of twos.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a handful of properties, and they're all in the twos.
Yep. I got a duplex at 2. I have a, yeah, cabinet 2, well, 2.5, and
Right
then my
in the
primary is at
twos.
2.5. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good and bad. We don't have to get into the whole golden handcuffs conversation this time around.
Yeah. Right.
We'll see what happens over the next 12 months, and we'll get you back on the show at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so new company, relatively new team, people you'd worked with before, but
Absolutely.
you guys are doing it different now. What kinds of things are you guys doing differently from, just from a JTT perspective, lead gen, client retention, team structure, these kinds of things? What's different now for you than it was a year ago?
Yeah, so the bedrock of everything we're doing is just like we were talking before, buyers are very skittish. So being available, present, knowledgeable is just the bedrock of everything, right? So again, maybe I'm in a place where I'm, got the kid or out with the family, or I'm out of town, who knows, like, whatever it is. Just because I have a lead that wants to see something doesn't mean it needs to be pushed off when you have this group that can go out and do the showings. And that's a conversation that we set up front, like, hey, we're going to be the best at negotiating, we're going to be available, and we're going to be knowledgeable of all the things that with any property or the process and everything, right? Just because I'm gone doesn't mean you can't see the property, because time, speed to lead, speed to the property is going to be the way to win houses. No, but even if they're sitting on the market for a while, you want to make sure you're one of the first people to get into some of these properties, or or at least get in as soon as you can. So that's where we start. And then after that, we've been really focusing on the referral portion of that. If we're incredible negotiators, we're always available and we're knowledgeable, why wouldn't you recommend us to your brother, sister, mother, father, uncle, grandma, grandpa, aunt, and that has been really great for us because it's really expanded the way that we talk to people, or I'm sorry, it's adjusted the way we talk to people, and really set an expectation for the level of service that we're giving.
Well, and you said something before we went live about the influx of spam calls, which
Yeah,
I thought was really interesting because it strikes a chord that everybody should have their ears open to, their eyes open to at this particular stage in the game, that we answer the phone.
right.
Now, yes, I understand that a lot of the people, and I use that term loosely, on the other end are going to be AI, they're going to be bots, they're going to be computers calling you
Sure. Right.
because they really believe that you need an extended car warranty.
Sure.
But that 1 out of 10 is that potential buyer or seller who is going to move on to the next number if you don't.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think that that's a really big deal. And, it's funny because a colleague of mine has always just screamed from the top of the hill at the top of his lungs, answer the damn phone.
Right.
It's not that difficult. And you know what? If it's a bot, if it's AI, if it's a number being duplicated so that it appears to be something that would be relevant to you, answer it.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then hang up. Would that cost you 10 seconds of your day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Outside of being with a client, I mean, there's really no reason not to. Um, and on top of that, too, we've been pretty diligent with um, looking up numbers too, as well. And just if we miss anything too, because that's the other thing, is you don't want to call those spam ones back, because then they'll start hitting you even more. But we have a software where we can look up those phone numbers too and see if they're an actual person, if they're worth calling back too.
Yeah.
So that's been
And
good.
the technology exists for that as well.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're not at least using the Google, then, use Forewarn. The availability of being able to figure out whose number it is not a big deal. Now, I understand that a lot of them are being duplicated.
Right.
And you're going to call back and somebody's going to say, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't call you. And I'm not selling or anything. And I'm not looking to buy anything, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's going to happen. But for the most part, answer the damn phone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not all that complex process there. Answer the phone. Answer the phone.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's a big one. Okay, so just because I've been hitting everybody with this as of late, probably the last at least 6 months, and we may have talked about it the last time you were on the show back in March. What are you guys implementing technologically? What are you doing in AI? What kinds of cool things are we, advancing and perpetuating with technology?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell you kind of as a team, quote unquote, what we're utilizing, but then I'll kind of tell you my personal experience with it. So we use, I don't know if you mind if we talk about companies, no free pub here, but I use Follow Up Boss for CRM, and they've
Okay.
been implementing AI responses to a lot of the text messages. So actually, let me pause here because I think one thing I really noticed last year was where it was probably about a 50-50 mix between having conversations about properties and then about being under contract and we're under contract. It was 50-50 phone to text, right? And that could be with one person, or one person only wanted text, one person only wanted calls, but it
Sure.
seemed about 50-50. Now, last year it was nearly 90% text message. People didn't want to talk
Really?
on the phone. I don't know what that is. I have nothing to point to that as to what it is, but the AI companion portion of Follow Up Boss has been really cool because they can read the message, go through our call logs, go through our text logs, and kind of push out a response that sounds vaguely like something I would say. Um, and the team's been really good at utilizing that. Um, I'm a little more hesitant with it, just because like I'll do the hit the AI button and let it put whatever response it is, but then I kind of got to go through and
Edit.
change some of the words and make it sound a little bit more like me. Uh,
Okay.
as well. So I'm slowly taking my hands off those reins of having to type every damn text message that I send.
Well, and I think we
So
still have to do that. And we've seen a
yeah,
lot of flaws and flubs when people aren't.
yeah.
One of the ones I mention all the time is this yokel who was up here in Denver in federal court, the My Pillow guy, and had
Oh,
a big lawsuit up here last year. And his attorneys let AI write their briefs, and the judge caught it.
oh,
And
I heard
that
about
did
that.
not help his case. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I understand letting AI do some of the work, but we've got to understand that it's an assistant. It's not replacing you.
No, not at all. And if anything, it just gives me more time, which um, allows more slots, let's say, for clients, right? Whereas like I could probably pretty well handle 10 under contracts or 10 searching under contract clients at a time. I think that's booted up to about 15 or so. I think we're at 12 under contract right now. Um, and it's been awesome, because some of the work can be spilled around to some of the other people on the team, and then also AI has just been very simple questions of, hey, when's the inspection objection due?
Right.
February 18th. Boom. Just fills it in for you.
I mean, not that every logical platform, doesn't have some kind of AI assist to it. I mean, even what
Sure.
you are doing right now with the broadcast software that streams out this video cast, um, it's got all kinds of AI features. Your CRM has AI features. Your
Right.
social media has AI features. We talked a ton about meta AI recently because one of the big things that people are not doing enough of, it's getting better, but we're not doing enough of teaching our AI whatever we're using on the regular about us. That's
Right.
that's how it's going to learn. That's how it's going to be more and more and more helpful as time goes on. And everybody's using Meta. The volume of pictures and posts and videos and on, that there's so much in Meta AI where it already knows about you
Right.
People are ignoring it. Blows my mind. You just spent, well, for some of us, getting close to 20 years of using Facebook.
Sure.
That's a lot of data going into Meta's AI that you could be taking advantage of, and people just don't. It's really wild to me. But yeah, taking advantage of what kind of AI pieces are available in your CRM, whatever it is you guys are using, is probably a folly. Take advantage, let it do some of the legwork for you. One of the things we talked about, and it may have been in our weekly video blog, and not on the podcast, was how you could be utilizing AI to do one of two things, and all of you want to do it, which is be as productive as you are now with less time, or be more productive in the same time.
Right.
And if you're not using AI to help you close more deals without having to work anymore, then you're missing the boat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Although, yeah, I guess it's just human nature. I'm not going to try and beat people over the head with a hammer to get them to use AI. But people, please use your AI. There's so many facets of what it could be doing for you. And please understand that AI is actually the process, not just the data set. That's a big one. See so many people just using AI like it's Google. That one's driving me
Sure.
nuts, right? And then the other one that really is still driving me up a wall, we've been talking about this for literally a couple of few years, is stop creating problems you don't have and didn't need for AI to solve. Use it to solve the problems you do have.
Right.
That one is still irking me. Just gives me Forrest Whitaker eye every time I see somebody creating a problem for AI to solve when it's a problem they didn't have. You know,
Right.
that's not a problem you need to solve. Why are you? Yeah. Now we're doubling up on creating problems for AI to solve.
Do you have some good resources for how to better use that, at least in a real estate sense?
So there are a handful, no question. We've just in recent months started tinkering with Manus, which is strictly business related, and they do a lot of really cool things: image work, video work, data set work, those kinds of things. I do have a absolute love for meta AI when it's being used right, because it's such an enormous amount of data that it's already collected on an individual user. And we talk about ChatGPT and Gemini all the time. And the secrets to those are that you have to feed it, right? So, I mean, with our coaching clients in the real estate business that are relatively new to AI, we do make them run through a couple of basic exercises. One is creating the perfect client avatar, right? Teach them about who you are, what your business is like, what kind of property you want to focus on, what kind of clients you want to work with, and then use it to figure out the best ways to get in front of those people. Now, marketing to them, and I hate the term marketing because it really kind of describes spending money, and I don't want people doing that. They have all the tools they need without spending more money. But what social media platforms are those people on? What times of day are they on those platforms? Those kinds of things. And you can start to narrow it down. So that's certainly very, very helpful. The other one, of course, and we do see a lot, and it is very common and good for everybody that's using it to write listing descriptions. Again, don't just let it write your fucking listing description and then go publish it. Proofread the shit. Brandon's proofreading simple text messages, people.
Oh my God.
He's not just letting it get sent out. Don't let AI write listing descriptions without looking at them. That's just plumb dumb. Okay. But one of the things that we're making our coaching clients do is feed it all of their previous listing descriptions that they wrote themselves. So that their AI is learning about how they've always written them.
Right.
So that it can learn about them, and it will get closer and closer and closer to writing it the way that you would have written it before using AI to help you write it. So those are a couple of things that we find very, very valuable. But, you know, the bottom line with the AI still is it's not really artificial intelligence. It is learning, but you have to teach it.
Right.
Okay. It's not self-learning. Computers are dumb. They only know what we tell them. It's just that now they know everything we've ever told them through the history of mankind.
Right.
Where AI differs is that it now understands processes as well. It's not just about the data set.
Right.
So the example, excuse me, that I've been using for a while now is Google Maps. Okay. And don't get me wrong, Google Maps is an amazing tool. It's just a data set, but it's an amazing tool. You get in the car, you tell it where you want to go, and not only does it take you there, but it reroutes you for a faster route. It knows where there are traffic jams and speed traps and stop signs and traffic lights, and it knows every business along the way. It knows every address of every building along the way, so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
But with my AI, I will say, hey, I've got to be at this closing at 2:00. And I want to get something to eat, and I need some gas before I can do that. I don't have enough gas to make it. And I got to go to the dry cleaner. And now it's running a process. And it'll tell me, hey, yeah, you have time to get gas because you can stop right here. You're not going to have time to eat unless you want gas station sushi, but you can't do that because you're on a keto diet. So you're going to have to wait until after, and you're never going to make the dry cleaner beforehand, but they're open till 6. So go after. And that process, that equation is really the big difference between when I tell Google what I need to do, or Google Maps, and what I can tell Gemini that I actually need to accomplish. And it knows all these other things, like I'm not going to eat this because of my diet or whatever the case may be. So there's an actual thought process of sorts going on without me having to do the work. And I think that's the big difference between where I'm getting a data set and where I'm getting an actual process between Google and AI.
So it's very interesting, the difference between those two. I've never thought of it that way, but I mean, it makes total sense. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. So there are some very basic exercises that people should be doing, like the perfect client avatar and how to market to them.
Right.
And obviously, if you're using it for help for things that you've always done in the past, manually or yourself, then give it everything you've done in the past so that it can have an educated perspective on how to help you do it in the future. So, yeah, those are a couple of things. For everybody that did not go get their AI.com handles, please do that. I know it kind of crashed their system when they ran their Super Bowl ad. I waited a little bit, but a lot of our clients were like, hey, I can't get into it. I'm like, okay, just wait a little bit. The effect will wear off. They'll get it back on track. And then I can't remember for the life of me what the strict business related one that Matthew Broderick did the ads for. And shame on me because we have talked about it a bit. I'm going to look it up. GenSpark. And yeah, and that one looks amazingly cool to me as well for what it is going to be able to do for business related purposes. I think that GenSpark is going to be doing some really cool things with business related AI tools, slides, designer, docs. They actually have what they refer to as a super agent. So you'll have to go and check that out. But yeah, it is literally being touted as the all-in-one AI assistant. So yeah, I think that will be a very valuable tool for real estate agents going forward as well. But God, I don't think the vast majority of the real estate agent population is there yet. I mean,
I would agree.
I don't even think they're using it in a manner that you're using it yet.
It's a very good point. Well, you got to think, like, a lot of the people who've been around for a while have been around for a while, so they're typically on the older side. So maybe that has something to do with it, Yeah. Oh, but I mean, look at that full head of hair.
Hey, but
you can play 35.
I do always tout that I'm tall and have my hair. But the
all you need.
Bottom line here is that unless you're on the cusp of retirement,
right,
and very few are because they don't do all of the other things at the tail end. They're not focused on building a business they can walk away from while it still pays them. That's part of what we help our coaching clients with, of course. But if you're not, right on the cusp of retirement, you're sticking your head in the sand when it comes to AI, then you're no better than the people that did that with video 10 or 15 years ago. You weren't doing good video work 10 years ago. You were way behind the ball. And that's going to be that same group of people that are sticking their heads in the sand when it comes to AI.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
and I know agents that are still out there sticking signs in the yard in their 70s and even beyond. I don't want to do that.
No.
Okay, now I'm decades away from that, thank God.
Oh, yeah.
At least for now, although we all know that while the days are long, the years are short. They do whip by.
Sure.
Uh,
I
but
certainly feel that.
yeah, if you are not right on the cusp of retirement, you have got to get involved. And there are so many free resources as far as tutorials, classes, all these kinds of things that you can be doing to learn how to use AI in your business properly. So, God, take advantage.
Yeah.
Block out the
Absolutely.
time. I could hear all of the listeners, and we haven't even put the podcast up yet, right? I could hear all the
Yeah.
listeners saying, "Well, I don't have time for classroom work or tutorials or that kind of." Well, you got to make that time. You got to block off that time. Put 2 hours on your calendar for Saturday morning and go look at what AI can be doing for your business. Because it's wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think there's probably going to be a moment where some people's production is going to start to decline, and they don't sell as many houses, or the volume goes down, or whatever, and you're starting to wonder why. And maybe it's because somebody savvier, somebody who actually paid attention to all this, was able to pick up more business and do more with less.
Well,
And
and if we're talking about the really old dogs,
yeah,
the people that have been in this for decades,
sure.
then you guys have got to understand that every younger agent and every agent that's coming into the business now and going forward has all these tools and they're used to them. They've been using them. If
Right.
you are going to be a new real estate agent at 25 years old, you learn this shit in college. And the
Oh,
agent that's been
absolutely.
doing this for 30 years did not.
Yeah,
So, I always say AI is not going to take your job. The people using AI are going to take your job. So,
that's a good saying. I like that.
Yeah, cool. Very true. Yeah, we're never going to eliminate the human need, not anytime soon.
Right.
But the people that are doing it in a far more productive, efficient, technologically savvy manner are going to be the winners. No question about it. All right, shit, we're already way over time. We knew that we would be. We do that with you every time.
I always
So
black out
no
when we do
surprise
this. I'm
there.
just like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm always just like, oh, we just started. 38 minutes have passed.
Yeah,
You know?
and we did just start, which is why we'll do another episode
Oh,
because
come
we
on.
could talk
I
about
love it.
this kind of stuff forever. But thank you. I say this every week to everybody that's on the show. I know carving out this kind of time on a Monday morning is no easy task for you, even less than others. Although you had to sneak out of the house and have a nanny come, and you really had to tear yourself away in order to do it. So thank you for doing it.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'll send the bill. Bill's in the mail, so
Cool.
for the nanny. So
Excellent. Yeah, that's
no,
actually fun. Yeah, and we all know childcare ain't cheap.
no,
So
sure isn't.
Oh, poor Brandon. He's about to learn all the hovering costs of daycare and wait till you see when they actually get to school, even public school. Yeah, that's not free.
Oh yeah, I can feel my
Yeah.
wallet getting lighter by the minute.
Well, you knew what was coming.
I did. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Sell
right.
more
So
houses, I gotta say.
for the rest of you watching or listening live or in syndication, thanks for tuning in. You can catch live episodes pretty much every week. We do this. We've done hundreds of these over what's getting on about 9 years now. It's crazy. But you can catch us live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube on Mondays at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. And the podcast goes up on Wednesdays on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. And thanks for tuning in for other episodes, past episodes, the weekly video blog, the copies of the books I've written on these subjects, information about our annual conference, whatever you guys want to find out about it, just go check out justthetipscoaching.com. That's scrolling across the bottom of your screen if you happen to be watching the video cast. If you're just on the podcast, again, it's justthetipscoaching.com. Brandon, thank you. I'll put you on the books for another episode in the not too distant future. Hopefully, we won't have to wait another year. And thanks for doing it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Always fun being here.
Yeah, no sweat. Don't disappear. I'm going to run our extra. We'll catch up a couple minutes. And the rest of you, we'll see you next week with another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. Later.